Hello, drama lovers. Welcome back to this channel. Tonight, we will step into a moment that has left many people speechless. A story that seems like it was written for the screen, yet it unfolded in real life. Under the dazzling lights of a grand gala, a night meant to celebrate success and artistry, an unexpected turn of events silenced an entire hall and sent waves of emotions rippling across the internet. The spotlight that night was not just on the glittering stage, but on two names that have long been tied together by both fans' hopes and media's endless speculation: Xiu Kai and Tan Songyun. Both stars, beloved for their talent and their natural chemistry, have found themselves at the center of attention more often than not. But no one could have predicted that this night, a gala meant to shine, would instead reveal such raw and unguarded emotions. It began like any other celebration. The hall sparkled with chandeliers, voices of laughter filled the air, and the cameras flashed relentlessly, capturing every elegant step and poised smile. Xiu Kai entered, tall and striking, the kind of presence that cannot be ignored. Tan Songyun arrived soon after, radiant yet understated, with the kind of grace that makes people turn their heads without realizing why. They were both seated not far from each other, though the crowd and the flashing cameras created a distance that seemed larger than it actually was. On the surface, everything appeared normal. But beneath the glitter, something was brewing, a tension invisible to the eye, yet deeply felt when the unexpected happened. In the middle of the night's festivities, as applause echoed for another winner on stage, Tan Songyun suddenly faltered. It was brief, almost unnoticeable to some, but those nearby saw it, the slight stagger, the way her hand reached out as though searching for balance. And then, in an instant, she collapsed. Gasps filled the room. The glittering hall fell into silence, the kind of silence that weighs heavy and thick. Cameras froze, flashes stopped, and the music cut off abruptly. For a moment, time seemed suspended. And then, out of that silence, one figure moved without hesitation. Xiu Kai. Without a second thought, he rushed forward, his usual composed expression breaking into something raw, something desperate. He reached her before anyone else could. In front of hundreds of people, under the piercing gaze of cameras and lights, Xiu Kai gathered Tan Songyun into his arms. The image was unforgettable, an actor known for his strength and elegance, now holding someone so dear with trembling hands. His eyes glistened, his voice barely audible as he called her name, urging her to open her eyes. Those nearby could see the tears he tried, but failed, to hold back. Xiu Kai was crying. Security and staff rushed to assist, but it was Xiu Kai who carried her, cradling her close as though afraid to let go. The grandeur of the gala no longer mattered. The awards, the flashing cameras, the scripted moments, all of it vanished in that instant. The only thing that mattered was Tan Songyun, unconscious in his arms, and Xiu Kai, desperate to protect her. The video of that moment spread online within minutes. Fans, reporters, even those who were not familiar with either of them, were captivated by the sight. The internet exploded with questions, with speculation, with heartfelt concern. Was she all right? Why did she collapse? And most of all, what did this reveal about the bond between her and Xiu Kai? The reactions were intense. Fans of Xiu Kai praised his instinctive reaction, calling it proof of his sincerity, of his true feelings. Many said that no amount of acting could replicate the kind of emotion that was written so clearly across his face. Others focused on Tan Songyun, pouring out messages of worry, urging her agency to release an update on her condition. And yet, alongside the concern, there was something else. A sense of awe. That in the middle of an industry often accused of being cold, polished, and detached, there was this raw, unscripted humanity. Xiu Kai, who often appeared untouchable on screen, was suddenly just a man, terrified of losing someone precious. As hours turned into days, discussions only grew louder. Media outlets replayed the footage, analyzing his every expression, every word. Was this simply an instinctive reaction of a caring colleague? Or was it proof of something deeper, something long whispered about but never confirmed? The speculation became endless, but at the heart of it was a truth no one could deny. Xiu Kai had shown the world a side of himself that he had always kept hidden. Meanwhile, Tan Songyun's health updates began to trickle in. Her agency assured fans that she was recovering, that it had been exhaustion, nothing more. But fans were not convinced it was nothing. They pointed to the stress of constant schedules, the pressure of public appearances, and the toll it takes on even the strongest of stars. In their hearts, many felt protective, sending messages of support, praying for her recovery. For Xiu Kai, However, the night seemed to linger like a shadow. Those who saw him after described him as quieter, more subdued. He avoided unnecessary interviews, his gaze often drifting, as though replaying that terrifying moment again and again. When he finally appeared before fans at another event, his words were few, but his voice carried a weight it never had before. "What matters most," he said softly, "is health and the people you care about. Awards, fame, they mean nothing if you cannot protect them." Those words struck deeply. It wasn't just a reflection of his own fear, but a confession of what truly lay beneath the surface. Shu Kai, behind the glamour and the cameras, was simply human. And that night, his tears revealed more than any interview or award speech ever could. The internet still hasn't stopped talking. Some say this will forever change how people view the relationship between Shu Kai and Tan Songyun. Others say it doesn't matter. What mattered was that, in a moment of crisis, his heart was laid bare for the world to see. And maybe, just maybe, that is why this moment will be remembered not as a scandal or a rumor, but as one of the most genuine displays of emotion the industry has ever witnessed. So now, I turn this question to you. Do you believe what happened that night was just an instinctive reaction, or was it the revelation of something much deeper? Was it the collapse of a colleague, or the collapse of someone irreplaceable to him? One thing is certain. The story of Shu Kai and Tan Songyun at that gala will not fade quickly. The image of him holding her, tears streaming, will linger in the minds of those who saw it, both in person and online. And as updates continue to come, the world will watch closely, waiting to see not only Tan Songyun's recovery but also how Shu Kai chooses to face the emotions that slipped through his carefully guarded walls. Drama lovers, the gala was meant to be a celebration, but instead, it became a mirror reflecting the fragility of life and the truth of human emotion. It was raw. It was real. And it reminded us all that behind every glamorous smile, there is a beating heart that fears, that hopes, and that loves. So stay with us, because this is not the end of the story. This is just the beginning of a chapter that may reveal more than we ever expected. Until then, let us keep the discussion alive. Share your thoughts below. What did you feel when you saw that moment? And what do you believe it truly means? This is the beauty and the pain of following the stories behind the spotlight. And here, on this channel, we will continue to bring them to light.